Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League, showcasing some more fun battles featuring Umbreon. Umbreon on a very powerful team that I've run quite a bit in the past, only in the past I've utilized Lickitung on this team. But Lickitung has seen better days in the Great League, guys. The Medicham Noctowl core is quite rough for it, so we have tweaked it a little bit. Umbreon's going to be in the back. And speaking of Noctowl, in to replace Lickitung on the safe swap, good old Noctowl. That update was a game changer for it. It is now full-blown meta in the Great League, and it is quite clutch on the safe swap because if they swap in a steel type, Noctowl has the bulk and the coverage to really hang in there and maybe even flip switch depending on a number of circumstances. Awesome safe swap. And also on this team, good old DD, Defense Form Deoxys on the lead. A very versatile lead in the Great League. Even with this meta shift, having access to Thunderbolt, which we are running, I would highly recommend Thunderbolt. It's the best coverage in this meta. Can absolutely put in work on the lead. But before we dive into the featured set of the video, we are starting things off with some bonus battles that I thought were tons of fun. And here we go. Shadow Skarmory on the lead. This is quite all right for Defense Form Deoxys here on the lead. Of course, with Thunderbolt trying to catch that on their ground type Swampert. We held on. Not going to happen. Just going to chip it and dip it. Chip it and dip. Chip and dip, excuse me, into Noctowl. And you don't have to really shield anything, especially if you're able to chip on get that chip damage on the Swampert. Noctowl has enough bulk to withstand 2 Hydro Cannons and still remain with enough health to where the Swampert cannot farm down with double resisted mud shots. So that is exactly what we're going to do. They did shield our first Sky Attack, and we are going for Sky Attack number 2. I highly doubt they shield the second one, and they do not. We have flip switch just like that with our Noctowl, and now gonna try and get to a Shadow Ball, but we underestimated the power of Shadow Air Slashes with Stab from this Skarmory. Gonna shield this out of caution. Could be a massive Brave Bird with a Shadow bonus, and it was. And it's a good thing we shielded that. That was quite clutch because they've got a Medicham in the back, and we are still healthy enough to handle this Medicham, no problem. We had the energy lead, so we go right for the Thunderbolt, and now at this point, I think we can safely go back-to-back Psycho Boost here. They hit us with a resisted Psychic. Not going to cut it. That is resisted, and we are going for the back-to-back here. This will likely grab the shield, which is unfortunate if they do, because hitting that at full power would have been really nice. The second one will chip enough to where Umbreon can handle this thing. And they are going to go for a last-minute power-up punch. Not going to KO at all whatsoever, and going to just throw this at the Skarmory. We saw that they did this. Deoxys did the job. It's just about done. Might as well chip. Every little bit of damage can help in Go Battle League. And now, we don't really have to shield this and probably shouldn't have. It's just the Sky Attack, and that is fine, but better to play it safe than sorry, I will admit. Gonna go for a foul play here, and it does not quite KO, and we're gonna look to go for the farm down here. This is absolutely 100% a Brave Bird, but the beauty of Umbreon is we survive because we are about as tanky as it gets. We leave with a loaded foul play, which means we are saying bye-bye to the Medicham, and Umbreon still quite strong in this meta. Good game, well played to our opponent. Umbreon still strong in this meta. Such a very strong generalist in this Great League meta. But here we go. Pelipper lead. Not bad for Deoxys. They need a Hurricane plus Weather Ball to KO, but they're trying to catch some double resisted damage on their Stunfisk. Not going to happen. We held on to that energy, and we were a little bit slow on the swap. So, guys, if you run this team, and they safe swap in a Stunfisk, you definitely don't want to stay in there. It's very tempting to do so, but you go into Umbreon. Umbreon has a pretty decent matchup, especially if you can swap fast enough. It is quite close, and it really does come down to IVs. So Umbreon is the proper alignment if they safe swap a G-Fisk. And guys, we shielded up a Rock Slide. I was counting 6, and I did count 6, but I didn't trust in my counts, guys. I'm like, surely they would at least build up to an EQ. But no, they just went 6 and threw a Rock Slide, so that's unfortunate. You never want to shield up a Rock Slide bait from a G-Fisk. And now we are going to have to shield up this next potential EQ. We kind of want to take this thing out. It's bad news for Noctowl, especially when shields are down. They tried to catch again. They're trying like heck to catch resisted damage. It's not going to happen. Instead, they're going to catch this last resort, and we are loaded with our DD. Going to align it onto this Azumarill. We have nearly back-to-back Thunderbolts. We're going for Thunderbolt number 1. 1 does not quite KO. We do not want to debuff ourselves, so we are just going to look to get rid of this Azumarill with Thunderbolt number 2. And just like that, it is gone. This G-Fisk is still relatively healthy, but so are we. An EQ from this health range does not KO Defense Form Deoxys. But we are going to have to throw a resisted Psycho Boost to get rid of this thing. And I think we were trying to not get too much Mudshot damage. And we do no bubble this in hopes of getting one more counter through. But it just KOs. We really wanted that extra counter to get to another Psycho Boost in the Pelipper. Did not work out. They wing attack us down. So we are going to throw Umbreon in here to force them to throw because we knew that this Pelipper was quite loaded. And that will ensure that we only have to tank one Hurricane on our Noctowl. That is going to prove to be key because we will absolutely make it to a Shadow Ball. Shields are down. We only need Shadow Ball plus maybe a Wing Attack to take this thing out. We get off that Shadow Ball. Big damage, but it does not KO. And they do get to a Weather Ball, which will take us out. We are in Weather Ball range, and it does. But one Snarl, I think, does the trick, and it does. Umbreon coming in clutch yet again. Taking out the Pelipper, cleaning up the end game. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Umbreon has never been better, especially now with the nerf to Charm in Season 13. It's awesome, and here we go. Core Breaker, my goodness. This thing is bad news for the entire team. But what's nice is that Galvantula is not known for its bulk. Gonna go for a Psycho Boost and try and catch on 4, but they hold on to their energy. We tried to catch a resisted lunge and was hoping to maybe farm this thing down, but no such luck. Holy smokes, good on them for hanging on to their energy. I'm not sure if there's a reason to do so, but they did, and we are going to tank that second discharge. We survive, and now just going to blind throw, fully expecting a Steel type, but no, they come in with a Noctowl. Oh, not getting off to a good start in this one, I must say. Oh, that is rough and brutal. Holy smokes. I thought surely they would come in with something that would be bad news for our Noctowl. But they were maybe reading that we would blind throw. So here we are, shielding up a Shadow Ball. We are down 2 shields up against this Noctowl. So now what we're going to try and do is bait a shield with a Psycho Boost. And then entice them to throw a Shadow Ball by staying in, although debuffed, and it works. They throw immediately just as they get to the Shadow Ball, and we catch that onto Umbreon, trying to make something happen, and they've got an Empoleon in the back, so they did have a Steel type in the back. Not sure why they didn't come in with it, but here we are. We're going to do just fine here. Empoleon, quite squishy in the Great League. It does hit relatively hard, but the beauty of Umbreon down shields is it's super tanky, and we take that all day, no problem. And gonna put the pressure on this Empoleon and look to take it out with a foul play here. But they shield. I was not expecting them to shield that. I was expecting them to put all the hope and faith into Noctowl to bring it home, but that is beautiful. We will take that all day, guys. The play here now is to just farm this thing all the way down. They will not make it to another move. And we've got a Thunderbolt locked and loaded for this Noctowl. We're close to 2, but we will not be needing 2 as that does big damage and 1 counter does the trick. Holy smokes. Had to work our way out of that one. Fell on our face a couple of times, but we got it done in the end. Good game, well played. Oh, those were some fun bonus battles, but we now move into the featured set of the video, and we are met with an Altaria. Very tricky lead for this team, but they immediately swap into a Stunfisk, and we decide to stay here. As far as what else they could have in the back, we did just run an Altaria team yesterday with a Azumarill in the back. So we should have been reading that there's something that Umbreon would have a lot of trouble with in the back. So we should have probably right about here come in with our Umbreon, and we should not be staying in here this long on the Stunfisk. As I mentioned earlier in the video, if they safe swap Stunfisk, at some point you will want to bring in your Umbreon. So we are not playing this correctly. Going to go for the Psycho Boost here. And they will make it to a Rock Slide. And we do not want to go down 2 shields, so we're going to let this go down. And not only do they flip switch, but yeah, we're now forced to reveal our Umbreon. And now they're free to bring in something that is terrible for it, and it comes in the form of Medicham. And they're throwing immediately on 5, which means that they're running Power-Up Punch, which means that this is even worse for Umbreon. I saw the Medicham, and I'm thinking, okay, I think we have a shot if they're running Ice Punch. It's quite close if they are running Ice Punch, but of course they're not. Of course. Why would they be running Ice Punch when we have an Umbreon? They're running Power-Up Punch, and it is exponentially worse. So we wanted to catch a Power-Up Punch here, but they threw another one, so I was thinking they were running that insane Power-Up Punch, Ice Punch moveset, but no, they go Power-Up Punch, and now we're down a shield. Oh, that is frustrating. So, yeah, it's not looking good. We're going to throw this Sky Attack on the Altaria, and then we will look to go for a Shadow Ball. I don't think Sky Attack plus Shadow Ball KOs, but it gets it pretty close. They go full on Moonblast, no debuff. That is good for us, but it won't really matter because the Shadow Ball does not KO, and the Dragon Breath Fast Move Pressure with Stab is too OP. We will not be able to make it to another move. That is why Altaria beats Noctowl pretty soundly, I would say. And they are going to make it to a last-minute Sky Attack, which makes it even worse for us. Would have been nice if they didn't have that. This Medicham far too healthy, and it is running Power-Up Punch, which means that it is lights out for us. They do get to it, and this will KO. That's a rough one. I think we misplayed it when they safe swapped in that G-Fisk. Should have, if we were going to stay in a little bit, we should have swapped out after getting it to about 50% health. But, hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Good game, well played to them. I'm telling you guys, there's no better time to run Umbreon than right now here in Season 13. And here we go, another Altaria lead. We're going to stay right here, play this out a little bit. If they try to stay in like this, the way I generally play Altaria here is if they don't immediately swap out, I will build up to the Thunderbolt and go for the Psycho Boost. The reason why is because the Psycho Boost at full power does about as much as a Thunderbolt does, and it allows you to swap out and still have some energy and health on your Deoxys, and that is exactly what we do here. We did grab a shield. That is quite nice. We don't have to shield this Sky Attack here, and we will not. And we're going to look to go build up. They tried to catch a resisted Sky Attack on the G-Fisk. Not going to happen. We do have loaded energy. Going to go for the Shadow Ball, and we grab a shield. Holy smokes. I was not expecting them to shield that. And we did have loaded energy, so we're going for Shadow Ball number 2. They cannot shield this one. They have no shields. And they are absolutely loading up, taking advantage of our Noctowl here. We're going to shield this and force them to dump all that energy. They're not overloading on us. Not going to happen. We threatened to throw another Shadow Ball and force them to throw. and that will KO. So we can safely come in with our Deoxys now here and really get in some nice, super effective counter damage. Gonna shield this. Like I said, we want to get this Stunfisk low, but they're not going to stick around for that. So what we're going to do here, they've got a Whiscash. Gonna throw this full power Psycho Boost and bank one for later. It could come in handy. And this Whiscash is absolutely loaded, but the beauty of Umbreon is it performs amazingly when shields are down. They go for that big blizzard. Basically does no damage. We're still in the green. Umbreon is insane. Gonna go for a foul play here and try and overload a little bit. They're not quite healthy enough to make it to another blizzard. This is just a mud bomb. And we will look to take this thing out after overloading a little bit. Gonna throw the foul play here. Put this Whiscash out of its misery. And now, not sure if they want to come back in, but they do with the Altaria. And it is still relatively healthy. So gonna chip this thing down. Guys, the play here now is to get this thing within Psycho Boost range. I wanted to throw one more Snarl, get it into the red, ensure that this Psycho Boost would KO, and it does! And now they've got that G-Fisk left. Gonna try and get to a Psycho Boost, and they throw the Rock Slide. They maybe should have farmed down. I think that would have been their best play. But it's all a moot point here because we will outpace because we did throw one Snarl before swapping out, and they knew that they would not get to a Rock Slide. Good game, well played to our opponent. This is one of my all-time favorite go-to teams. A little sad to have to swap, put Licky Tongue on the bench here for Noctowl, but hey, it's fine. It is what it is, but here we go. Azumarill on the lead. This is fine for DD, especially when you're running the highly recommended Thunderbolt. I think that is the way to go in the Open Great League. We're going for it on the CMP, and we do tank a play rough. No problemo here. DD has a very solid victory over Azumarill and the Zero Shield. We will play out the Zero Shield if they so choose. It looks like they're looking to lose this lead, and we will gladly oblige by throwing this Thunderbolt here. If they want a shield, that's fine, but they don't. They let it go. They come in with Sableye, and it is Noctowl time. This is looking to be a very, very common and classic team with Azumarill on the lead, with Sableye on the safe swap. There's generally a second ghost type in the back. Classically, it's with Alolan Marowak, but I think the newer version is with Trevenant in the back. So we're kind of playing with that in mind. Gonna tank this next foul play here. We tank that all day, and they cannot farm down with double resisted Shadow Claws. We now have a shield advantage, and gonna go for the Sky Attack. That's the safe play when shields are up, guys. You don't really need that Shadow Ball. The wing attacks and your resistance to this fast move pressure plus the Sky Attack is more than enough to handle a Sableye. No problem. We will shield up this foul play to ensure that we can take out this Sableye and control the alignment of this match here. We get there, they're not looking to catch, and we say bye-bye to the Sableye. And it's not another ghost type, it's a Buzzwole. Holy smokes, that completely threw me for a loop. So much so that I thought that they had one more counter than they did. I did not trust my counts yet again, so we make a very questionable play. The reason why we did this here is because I thought that they were one counter. I thought they had one more counter than they actually did, not trusting my counts, and I didn't want to risk throwing a debuffed Psycho Boost. So we banked that, go into Umbreon to put in work on this Buzzwole, and we're not making it to another last resort. Going to throw this resisted foul play. Was really hoping that it would KO. This thing's hanging on by a thread. We get that one counter through, and all we have to do is shield up this lunge, and that counter will take it out. Holy smokes. Oh, man. I was not trusting my counts on this day for a number of reasons, guys, but it paid off in the end. Good game, well played to them. My goodness, how about Umbreon holding its own against that Buzzwole? That was kind of crazy to see, but here we go. Azumarill lead yet again. As we saw in that previous battle, Deoxys handles Azumarill quite nicely in the Open Great League. And they usually, I don't know why they always stay in on these. It's an impossible task for them to try and win this. But they generally try to just soft lose lead with DD for some reason, and then hope for the best with their potential ghost type in the back. That's generally how it goes. But we've got answers if they want to swap out of this as well. So it's quite nice seeing an Azumarill on the lead with this team. They've got a ghost type in the form of Trevenant, but they do not have a second one. They've got a Basti in the back. Was not expecting to see that, but we can put in work with our Noctowl here. These Shadow Balls really add up and gets the Bastiodon a lot lower than you would think. And so we're fine to just play this out. They generally try to just farm all the way down. I have seen some Basties throw their energy, but generally they do go for the full farm down, but it's not comfortable for them, guys. We get to another Shadow Ball. Noctowl is quite nice in this meta. The bulk is amazing. And the coverage is amazing. Noctowl is amazing in general. So we grabbed a shield from the Bastiodon. Would you believe that? Can you imagine grabbing a shield from a Basti with a flyer? That's the power of Noctowl. They go for Stone Edge there. They aggressively swap back into that Trevenant, locking them in to a nightmare matchup. I think that they thought that they were in the clear by getting rid of the Noctowl, but little did they know we had an Umbreon lurking in the back. You'd love to see it. We're going to go for this foul play here, expecting a shield, but no, they let it go. And we will gladly let this Seed Bomb go. We can absolutely farm this thing down with Snarls, and that is exactly what we intend to do. And leave this mid-game matchup with loaded energy for the Bastiodon. It is hanging on by a thread. They are still fighting the good fight. They should really top left here. There is no path to victory for them. But they want to play it out, so that is fine. They have every right to do so. And we're just going to throw DD in here just to speed this up a little bit and go for the resisted Psycho Boost. That'll be more than enough to say bye-bye to the Basti. This team is OP, guys. If you want to get some solid wins in the Great League, I highly recommend giving it a try. Good game, well played. I'm telling you guys, this Umbreon team was really racking up the wins. It was quite nice. And here we go, picking up a positive lead in the form of Toxicroak. You can actually, if you encounter one of these on the lead, you can go straight Psycho Boost. Burst through those shields. They have to shield every single one of them because by the time, even when you get to the third one, it will KO. It will one-shot them, but they do not stick around for that. They make a play in the Skarmory. We just get off a big Thunderbolt, does big damage, and now we are in with our Umbreon. This is the proper alignment if you're met with a fighter on the lead. You want to align your Umbreon. You want it far and away from the fighter, I will say. And if you can notice here, guys, we are just we're capped out on energy and we're still throwing. The reason why, that's very much calculated. We want this Skarmory to get us low. And we no bubble that to get some additional farm. We don't want our Umbreon too healthy for this Toxicroak because they will undoubtedly just go for the full farm down. That's why we kept throwing even though we were capped on energy. And it kind of worked out. We grabbed the shield from the Toxie. They were probably erring on the side of caution just in case we were a mad lad and we were running Psychic Umbreon. But we do not on this channel. And they go Dynamic Punch. Holy smokes. And that did a lot more resisted damage than that was quite shocking to see. So much so that they're forcing a shield from our DD. My goodness. I was not expecting a Dynamic Punch to do that much damage. We're going to go for this Psycho Boost and see what they want to do. They let it go. That's amazing. And they've got an Umbreon of their own in the back. So it's Noctowl time. We are even on shields. They have a slight energy lead on us. But guys, if you're up against Umbreon and you throw with proper timing, you will win this. So the timing, the proper times to throw on a Pokemon that runs a 3-turn fast move is either you throw either after 1 of your fast attacks, 4 or 7. You could go up to 10 if you want to as well. So 1, 4, 7, and sometimes 10. That's how you play against a Pokemon that runs a 3-turn fast move, and you will see why. Because not allowing them not giving them any sort of energy advantage is the key. So all we have to do is safely shield up this foul play, and we will throw 1, 2, 3, 4 there and get off this sky attack. It will not KO, but we can farm down. They're going to have to throw some energy, and by then, one counter will take this thing out, and that is exactly what plays out here, my friends. They realize they cannot farm us down, and it is all over. One counter takes that Umbreon out, and DD closes it strong for us. So that's why it's important to throw with proper timing, my friends, and secure the win. Good game, well played to our opponent, and that is the team. How about it, guys? This Umbreon team is quite strong, and I have featured it in the past with Lickitung on the safe swap, but man, the Noctowl Metachamp core is quite brutal for Lickitung. You can no longer safely swap in Lickitung because there is almost assuredly a Noctowl lurking in the back to meet your Lickitung, and it is quite miserable. So we made the switch, made the adjustment. We put our poor Lickitung on the bench in favor of Noctowl, and that is the updated version of the Umbreon Deoxys core that I would recommend running in Season 13. Run Noctowl on the safe swap. You're going to be doing just fine. You still have the ghost coverage that Lickitung once provided. As well as being able to hold your own against the steel types, which is quite nice, guys. You put all that together, and that's a recipe for a lot of success with this team. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.